All right. Welcome to North Dakota After Dark, episode 30. Corey, do you think we'd make it?
I didn't think we'd make it to episode one, but here we are.
Here we are. Kelly is on assignment today, so it's just the boys. And what that translates to is less or fewer dick jokes in the
Yeah.
absence of Kelly. So she brings it, and neither Corey nor I can match that. So our guest for episode 30 is local hockey dad, hockey coach, hockey player, business owner, man about town, Shaun Endres. Oh, patron of the arts. Shaun Endres, welcome to the show, Shaun.
Thank you, guys.
Shaun, we'll get the big questions out of the way first. What are you drinking?
Just a Busch Light tonight.
Yeah, I've got one of those in reserve.
Staple.
Yeah. I also made myself a Sazerac that is making me blink extra hard. So we'll see how this goes. Corey, I might have to turn things over to Corey
That's scary.
by the 10-minute mark here. So
It's a bad week to be missing Kelly then.
it's a bad week to be, bad week for Kelly to go out on assignment for sure. So, Shaun, for so our viewership is roughly south of 24th and probably no further west than Columbia. But for the three people in this neck of the woods that don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, Shaun Endres. I grew up in Grand Forks. Um, Been in the construction trade since I was about 20 years old and still am today. Got a family in town here, wife Jackie, son Olin, daughter Lauren, and my youngest Ryder. So that's kind of the breakdown.
That's very well said, succinct and to the point. We mostly end up just talking about hockey on the show, Shaun. So can you tell us a little bit about where you played and maybe touch on a little bit of the coaching? Because I think Corey wanted to get into that a little bit.
Sure. Grew up playing youth hockey in Grand Forks. Went to Red River High School. Played my sophomore season there. My junior season, I ended up playing midget AAA in Seattle, Washington. I did the same my senior year. After that, played junior in Fargo for 2 years, and then my third year junior was in Omaha, and then went to the University of Findlay for 1 year, and that was a wrap.
And I would say it's probably fair that you will be the only podcast guest appearing this week or maybe even this month who's a former Findlay Oiler.
Probably so. Home of Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger.
Pretty good company, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And you've been coaching in town for quite a while as well?
Yes. Got done playing hockey, came back to town. My uncle asked me to coach a junior gold team right when I got back to town. I did that for a couple of years. And then it wasn't too long after that where Olin came along and then got into the youth hockey stuff. So been kind of it's been a long time. I don't know how many years that is, but it's a few.
And it's all, in my understanding, if my memory is correct, it's kind of all over the map. Little guys, Bantam AA, Pee Wee this year, so a pretty broad mix there.
Yeah, for the most part, it's kind of been up to Pee Wees. I've helped out on miscellaneous Bantam AA trips, but yeah, for the most part, it's just kind of the younger guys. So
Sure.
But
Oh, I'm sorry, Shaun. Corey, you said you had a few questions about some of the younger stuff.
Well, no. So for those obviously who were listening, Sean and Kyle coached my middle boys team for the season. So a mostly first year group of peewees with a smattering of second year peewees. On paper, we for the non-hockey initiate, on paper, I thought the team looked very solid until we realized that we were going to be bringing the tiny tots to town against most of the larger sized boys on the other team. So what I wanted to talk to maybe both of you about is the older I get in this coaching game, and my experience isn't hockey, obviously it's baseball, is that, and Kyle, we talked a little bit about this in Winnipeg this weekend, was the team takes on the identity of the coaching, right? So if you have a calm and steady demeanor, your team's going to be calm and steady. And as we can attest, it may have been, although my kid actually said he had a great time in the season, the losses it sometimes packed up, but you never saw the coaching staff take that approach of, a little bit fire and brimstone. It was always a very calm bench. And for the other coaches out there and some of the parents in hockey land, I've seen and heard in baseball some parents get upset that the coaches weren't more animated with the kids. But I found, anecdotally at least, the more calm you can be in difficult situations, the more resilient your team becomes. Any thoughts on that, Shaun?
I would say that's probably a true fact. I mean, especially when coaching little guys, I feel like it's easy to get caught up in the moment when you're on the bench there and start yelling. It seems like the louder you start talking, the more the younger kids kind of start to pucker up there and kind of get afraid of making a mistake, and just kind of amplifies everything if the coach is back there kind of losing their mind all the time. So I try to be calm and not lose my cool, but sometimes that happens. But
well, if you can keep your cool a little more than I could when I started coaching, you're doing great. Because man, I had a hard time, especially in the heat of the battle or when things went wrong, arguing with umpires or those kind of things. And it was amazing to me to see just the even keeled nature of a situation where we had a very solid group of hockey players. The talent was there. It's just sometimes we just got beat by kids who were older and a little more physically developed than ours. Maybe not so much hockey wise, but just, hey, sometimes you get out athlete. And so I got a kick out of my son who, 2-3 weeks after the season, he looked at me and said, "Oh, Dad, I had a really fun time. Like it was like I really liked my team and I liked the coaches and we just had a great season." And I was like, "Huh, okay, you didn't win many games, but if you said you had a great season, that's kind of a great testament to the team and the coaching." And hopefully, I'll butter you up, Shaun. Kyle, I can give two shits less about.
no, I think it was a learning year for the kids. Like a lot of first year peewees, like they're just learning how to play position and kind of getting a grasp of that stuff too. So I think by the end of the year, they really started to pull that stuff together, and it was a little different team by the end of the year. They were moving the puck well. They were where they were supposed to be, and that kind of changed the game a little bit for them. But they had a good end of the year. I don't know about you, Kyle, but my proudest moment was in our first game in Fort Francis when the ref blew the whistle about 35 seconds into the game. Maybe it was more than that. And he came over to the bench and he said, "Do you guys play checking in the States?" And I said, "No, but if you want, we could tone it down just a bit."
Yeah.
The boys played physical, and that's fun to watch. Within reason.
Yeah. I like that one. I think we got a similar compliment there. Maybe the same ref said it was a well coached team, but for me it was just sort of a series of little things where stuff you do in practice all the time. You see kids do it in games, and sometimes it's little simple stuff like the D executing a reverse and then a breakout. It's like, shit, we did that practice after practice, and then they come up and do it. And I think Shaun alluded to it, that kids were a lot different, in March than they were when we got them in November. So everybody improved on that team as a hockey player. And, despite the fact that we didn't win a ton, all the kids came out of there ahead of where they were when they started. So take that as a win.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and there's definitely
answer for you, but sorry.
No, there's definitely we're delving into reasonable land, which we need to avoid. But there's definitely that thing about coaching that parents don't always see. Is I've lost a game, 10-1 in baseball, but my kids executed a perfect hit and run in the second inning, and I was more excited about that than the baseball game.
Well, I think that's part of the
Absolutely.
deal too, is you can coach just to win games. Like there, I think
Yeah.
we could have done a bunch of stuff that would have, maybe turned 3 or 4 or 5 games around, but then that's nobody learns much from that, shorten the bench or whatever, just stacked them up at the blue line just to prevent stuff, but it doesn't ultimately do much for you. So
Maybe that's a great transition into the next series of questions is, Shaun, from when you transition from a player into coaching and you started coaching to where you are right now, what was your own personal growth? Or, when I started, I had a hard time not just being very rigid and things have to happen in my time and you have to do certain things. And I was very animated and kind of hot headed with the kids. And I'm the son of a military father. And so I kind of coached like that when I started. And I no longer coach like that because it didn't work at all.
Yeah, I think maybe when you start coaching, you have an idea how it's going to go, and then you quickly realize how hard it is to make that dream a reality, right? Like you're coaching kids, they're not going to grasp everything right away. It's not going to work out perfectly. So there was more than a couple of years of struggling with that, just with the little guys, thinking that, hey, we could teach them to execute a perfect breakout, and that's sometimes not reality, and sometimes the guy just has to adjust your expectations a little bit. But I would say maybe when I started, I was a little more hot under the collar. I think this go around, I was maybe a little more relaxed, or maybe calmed down a little bit. Except for
You
when
find
Kyle was messing up drills in practice, so then it kind of got weird. But
I improved as a player too. I'm ready to showcase those skills now,
yeah,
that's another thing that Kyle and I, for the people at home who actually would listen and or watch this, we've been broadcasting our kids' club games in the spring and the fall for a long time. And I've always been amazed at how in tough situations, good coaches can be the quarterback in the huddle, right? Something's going wrong or things are falling apart. And the good coaches seem to always be the one who's got the control. No, guys, hang on. Do your thing here, battle, but don't get into this stuff here or there. And it just seems to always be at the right time that those people are calm and control the game well. And myself as a coach, I look up to those coaches in a mentorship standpoint because I want to be that guy, right? I want to be that guy who's calm and isn't losing their mind in a tough situation. And I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I think, and Shaun, I'll let you kind of elaborate on this, but the game at State where we played the other Grand Forks team, we got down pretty big and clawed our way back and ultimately tied that game with just a few seconds left. And I think that's one of the things that helped the kids is call the timeout, had to drop a couple things, and Shaun especially was able to just keep the kids leveled before they spun out of control. And we had to sit a couple kids down and get nose to nose, but we stopped, the tears stopped, and they remembered there's a game going on. And again, we lost the one mostly because Corey's kid had to ask for a break in the fourth overtime after double shifting for 3.5 hours. But that's just a conditioning issue that starts at home, probably.
Yes.
yeah,
But that's still a successful game, I thought.
absolutely. Yeah, that we were in youth sports when the kids start to spiral out of control. There, we were dangerously close to that, and I was actually kind of surprised that they were able to right the ship there and collect themselves and kind of march back a bit, and then grind through. Was it 4 overtimes?
Fourth overtime when it ended, yeah.
And Parker was double shifting the whole game. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
What a pansy. Couldn't make it the whole five overtimes. Jeez.
Sounds like somebody gets a
I
lot
wouldn't
of
have made
grades
it.
to school.
I wouldn't have made it through the first period, but I'll call him a pansy. That's good
So
stuff.
Shaun, just we'll stick with the coaching for a bit here, but just sort of comparing your time when you were with the USHL, which is a little like earlier days of the USHL to now. Just maybe compare a little bit how you were coached compared to how you kind of have to maybe treat kids, I would guess, a little bit different now from those days when it was still we'll call it a tougher league, I guess.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I had to think about it, I would say that everybody was maybe a little more to the point, sometimes in your face. And I don't know if you can do that with kids nowadays. I'm sure there's instances where that happens still, but it'd be interesting to just listen to the jargon in a USHL locker room now compared to what it was back then. Would it be that much different? I'm not sure, but I know the kids are certainly different. Everybody's wired differently now. I know when I was in Fargo, I just had a beer with an old teammate in Winnipeg this weekend, and we were chuckling about it that I don't even think we had an off ice training program. Like we would practice in the morning, and there was no gym requirement after that. Like these kids are doing all kinds of extra stuff now. You know, the off ice conditioning, plyometrics, stuff like that, weightlifting. I don't even know how that was a possibility that we didn't have to go to the gym, but guys were going hunting after practice. Guys were going to work after practice. It was a little different.
I think it's interesting to note too, like you guys are still able to execute a high level hockey too without it too, right? It's not like it's the product has improved, but again, I don't think it's different to the point where it's unrecognizable, right? So it's interesting just that
Yep.
what you can achieve without all of the modern amenities and that the timeline. We spoke about this on an episode maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, sort of the advent of like all the extra stuff, like the shooting coach, the skating coach, the mental coach, the off ice coach. You know what I mean? Like all of this has been added on, but while the kids are probably more individually skilled, the actual product hasn't changed that much because you still have to, play within a system, play with other guys, play against other guys, right? So it kind of comes right back to can you win a one-on-one battle or whatever, just those small little points of a game that end up lead to the bigger conclusion, I guess. So
Yeah.
interesting to look at. So before we get too far into it, we said off the hop you played a year at Findlay University. It's a program that's no longer around. I would say even probably hardcore college hockey fans might not be aware of it. Can you tell us a little bit about your time? How'd you get there? What was it like? Any lasting memories?
The University of Findlay was they started a Division I program the same year. Bemidji, Niagara, Wayne State, Air Force, Army, and maybe Huntsville.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Right. College Hockey America.
Yeah. College Hockey America. Didn't know anything about it, but got a call from a coach that summer. I didn't have a lot of other options, so I thought I'd go check it out. Got there. It was a small private school, maybe 2,000 students, if I had to guess. Very small class sizes, sometimes 5-6 people in a classroom, sometimes 10. Oh. But it was a little different walk of life there. Nice school, nice buildings and stuff. Interesting to travel around to different parts. Take a bus down to Huntsville. That was a different deal. They had a neat arena. Had an overnight trip to play Air Force in Colorado Springs. That was kind of a fun trip. Almost missed the plane on the way out of that one, but
no story involved, just timekeeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got out after a game and just lost track of time a bit.
It happens.
Got back and the bus was coming down the driveway, and I hopped out of a car and onto the bus, and away we went.
Sometimes you and Billy Bob come out of the club at a certain time and the sun's flaring, and it just happens to be when the bus comes by.
Yeah, that was a near miss.
Was did Huntsville play? Was it the Von Braun Center still then?
My recollection of that was like an old wooden, nice building, though.
Yeah.
I
Can't remember the name, but it's only rink in America named after a former Nazi, I think,
Oh, it's probably not anymore. I'm sure they've changed it.
They're really actually still trying to build a new facility down there and bring it back. So pretty active youth hockey community in North Alabama there. Some good dudes involved, and I hope they can make it work.
My recollection from playing there was they played Sweet Home Alabama after every time they scored, and we heard it a bunch over the weekend.
Yeah. You know all the words now, hey?
Yeah, that's for sure.
I like how Kyle secretly hides his Canadian by saying hey instead of a now after sentences. You pick on this, Shaun?
Starting to, yeah.
It's like, well, hey, 4 days in Winnipeg and it's all coming back out again, Drinking club beer, playing VLTs.
Kyle introduced himself to every person on the opposing team. Like, just the nicest guy the whole weekend.
Well, Corey wasn't around, but we almost got in a dust up with some Saskatchewan dads.
I was very disappointed about missing that.
Yeah. Six moms, what do we say? Chirping a table of 14 or 15 other dads, and then chimed in, made fun of a guy a little bit, and he didn't understand what I was saying, and that made it worse. And then some of the moms kept going. I'm like, it was for a time, it was 1 on 15, and I was like, I don't like this very much. But long story short, we were okay.
You were able to
Go ahead.
You were able to calm it down there, Kyle, and diffuse the situation?
My neighbor was able to calm it down, which we thought he was coming in with a can of gasoline, but turned out he was the peacemaker. So
one never knows what you're going to get from that guy.
Nope. Yeah, it was turned to another dad and said, "This is not our best representative at the moment," because he had enough. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is happening, but nothing. So
disappointing.
So yeah, our cross-border friend-making trip did not go particularly well.
Do you introduce yourself as a fellow countryman then when you're talking about that?
I do my very best to hide it until someone rats me out.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I only ratted him out twice while we were there. And I think it had to do with the color and inseam length of his short and his pair of shorts on a particular evening. Yeah. So that, I feel like he kind of ratted himself out. I just pointed out the obvious.
Then you got to lean in a little bit, and disappointing. No cousins in the group, but.
Do you go with the 5-inch Lululemon when you're up north there, or
just Target? I thought, in Canada, we're in a third world country. I'm going to slum it a little bit. I'm not going to waste the good ones. No.
Don't bring.
Well, and we were trying to decide whether or not that's you have give or take 2 or 3 inches with a 5-inch inseam when you sit down. So
yeah. It's got to be strategic, Corey.
That was the evening we talked to, what was it, the Murder Hornets team?
Yeah.
Oh, in Canada? Okay. Interesting team name. Swanson loved that team name, by the way. I don't think he stopped talking about it all weekend.
Yeah.
So
they also
we did get
one of the very many cannabis stores in Winnipeg, so.
That's what I was going to say when the gentleman at the table across from you, which I missed out on, were trying to start a fight and then got confused with simple English. I assumed it had something to do with the cannabis store in every block.
Probably. But
well, and then there was the mom fight in the pool. Don't forget that.
I didn't get in on that one, but that's a good segue to the next series of questions, which is fun hotel stuff. So Corey, tell your.
Well, we had a hotel room. Parker and I had a hotel room that overlooked the pool area, and it was packed. So our boys went to play in the pool, and told the dads, "Why don't you come up and sit in my room because it's air conditioned and you can see into the pool, and it's literally at slide height. So when any of the kids got on the slide, they could see us, we could see them. We thought it was perfect. About half hour into it, we get a text from another parent saying, "Hey, there's a mom fight going on." And you've never seen seven dads run to a glass window as quickly as they did, both hands pressed, faces pressed, nothing. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And we thought they're teasing us about the whole deal. Well, out of our range of view, these two moms were just one with a baby and one without, almost got into a full on fist fight about children going down a slide. And I don't know, some chicanery or so. But I'm very sad I missed out on the whole deal. But I'm telling you, watching seven dads with their faces plastered against a window looking for a mom fight is something you should see as well.
I bet.
The follow-up mom story, we're at the MTS Center, and there was several hundred people in there looking to buy beer. So in true Canadian fashion, they had one person taking orders. So the line was getting 15 or 20 deep. So we had a table near the bar. Some little Saskatchewan dude comes and just sits with us. 6, 7 years old, maybe. So I think he had the Murder Hornets hat on, if I'm correct. "Hey buddy, where are you from?" "I'm from Estevan and Beanfate." So little towns in Saskatchewan. I'm like, how come two towns, buddy?" He goes, "Oh, I got a stepdad now." I'm like, "Oh." I'm just chatting to this little dude, and I'm like, "Hey, where's your mom?" He goes, "I don't know, she's drinking somewhere." I'm like, I almost brought that kid home with me. Because just a nice little dude, but couldn't find his mom. Then we saw his mom, then we understood what was going on. So had the lot of rips in the jeans, a lot of bedazzling going on, 8 different colors in the hair. So
Ugh,
quite the country they got there.
that is really something.
It is. So that's the segue. What, Shaun, you got kids. Olden's obviously a little older than even Corey's boy. I'm assuming you got a lot of hockey dad road trips under your belt. Can you give us the best hotel experience and then the worst, and why?
And if one of them isn't the patch either way, we're going to be
Yeah.
seriously disappointed.
Jeez. There's a lot of good ones. Maybe the best one was I think it was Olin's Bantam AA group. I think we got to Winnipeg on a Thursday, and somebody said, "Hey, yeah, we should go to a strip club tonight." And so it wasn't planned, but I think there was only maybe 3 moms that made the trip. We'll say max of 4 moms that made the trip. So it was a bunch of dads and a bunch of older kids that really didn't need to be looked after. And the dads went out to dinner, and then we decided we were going to go check out some adult entertainment. And we hopped in a minivan, and I feel like this is the reason why I want a minivan now. But we were piled into a minivan. Somebody whips out a bottle of Jamaican rum, and we're passing it around the minivan, and we go piling into this adult entertainment club, and we're not there for more than 15 minutes. And I think a gal walks through the door, and there's a gal bartender, and she grabs a big hurricane glass off the bar, fires it at the girl behind the bar, goes around the bar and tries to physically fight this girl before they chucked her out the door. I had to restrain your neighbor. Some dudes were starting to get involved, and one guy kind of pushed one of the gals out of the way, and your neighbor says, "Oh no." And he took one step and I grabbed him by the shirt and I was like, "This isn't our deal tonight, Shane." And a couple minutes later, somebody came in and said they were going to shoot the place up. And we were out of there as quick as we went in there. But I think we proceeded to do the same for 2 more nights in a row.
Yeah.
I
think
got back and Jackie said to me, she goes, "Man, that Winnipeg trip was expensive this weekend." I said, "Yeah."
Sure.
And then I kind of told her, I said, "Well, we maybe did this one night, maybe the same another night." And she goes, "I cannot believe you would do that 2 nights in a row." And at that point, I just said, "Yeah, me neither. Not going to tell you about the third night, but."
best left unsaid.
One of those
So
boy
that
that
was a fun
escalated
one.
quickly things.
Yeah. Covered a lot of ground that weekend. Bad ones, I don't know. I don't know if I have any bad. The bad one to me would be probably last year in Winnipeg when my truck got vandalized. That was a downer.
Yeah,
Well, Shaun,
that throws
if
some
it
cold
makes you
water
feel
on
any better,
everything.
I got my truck stuck in a McDonald's parking lot that was too small and scratched the living shit out of one side of it. So that was fun. I love Winnipeg. That town doesn't suck at all.
It's really starting to look like a third world country.
Yeah, we had one player, his grandparents brought him, very nice older couple, and I sat down with them at Boston Pizza, and the grandma, who was full value, she should be a fixture really at any hockey games our kids play going forward. Sat down next to me and ordered a beer. Said, "I'm hoping I'm not offending you, dear, but this place is a shithole." Like, no, I got you, grandma. Same page.
Honestly, after about 2 days in Winnipeg, I was starting to think we were going to go on a mission to rescue some downed Blackhawk pilots.
Yeah,
That's a possibility.
it's right there, you know.
Some really good ones at the patch too, with the live band there and the food. Just a lot of opportunity for good stuff to happen there.
Yeah. It always feels fun when there's an out of town trip, when there's a lot of Grand Forks people there. It always feels like this is going to turn into some fun.
Is the patch not an option anymore? Am I understanding that right? Did somebody buy that whole hotel? Did Marvin buy the whole hotel? And
I had heard that too. They were not on our calendar this year, so it's but I guess we know people to ask. But yeah, that's my understanding, which is a shame.
it is.
Yeah, Kyle, I can't really think of in all the years of hockey travel, of a really terrible weekend. I mean, most of them have been pretty dang enjoyable, even the ones where maybe the kids don't do as well as you'd like, but they tend to usually there's some salvaging moment. Even in the worst trip, there's something fun that happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like, there's always one fun story you can hang your hat on, even if the rest of it's not so good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We should really have a follow-up episode to this with you and the neighbor, because I've heard the minivan story, and I think he tells it the exact opposite.
He told the minivan.
Yeah. We need to get a third party in here, and you guys can hash this.
Yeah. We need to get a minivan.
Yeah. I tell you what, I rent one every summer to go to a family reunion in Michigan, and it's great. We end up taking that thing to the casino in downtown Detroit, and it's a lot of fun.
Nothing better than just hitting the button and both the doors open up.
Both doors are open. Yeah, you walk out of there like getting out in style.
It's maybe like a Canadian limo.
It really is, you know?
In the back of my head, I was picturing a 1984 Dodge Caravan when he's telling the story.
Honda Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
No electronics, no dual doors, just a piece of shit. Would have made the story better.
What was the old the Chevy model that looked like a
The Astrovan?
is it Astrovan that looked like it came out of
Yeah.
the Starship Enterprise?
Yeah.
Oh, you're mixing up two of them there.
Oh,
Okay.
The one that looked like the Dustbuster. Is
yeah.
that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, like a Chevy Transport maybe?
I feel like that thing was a Pontiac with the long pointy.
Maybe, yeah. The Astrovan was just almost a brick, right?
Yeah, four-wheel drive version of a
Yeah.
minivan.
Okay. I'm not Googling this at all, guys. I swear.
I'm doing it right now.
So-
I'm not sure how we got to minivan. We went from strip clubs to minivans, which is like really the ultimate dad flex, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Which ironically, when you're talking, we had the chance to Google strip clubs or minivans. We all start Googling minivan.
Yeah. So looks like everyone made Lumina minivan, the Oldsmobile Silhouette, which I don't think was even available in Canada.
Luxury vehicle tax.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Um, has anyone, this is just one more pass at the strip clubs, has anyone ever been to the Nor Villa in Winnipeg?
Does it feel like you're going into your grandma's basement when you walk in there?
No, it's just an old school hotel, main floor. I don't know how to describe it other than just generic old hotel.
With a liquor store on the side of it?
Yeah. North end of
Potentially.
town, North Main, or Henderson Highway.
But I feel like the strip club is in the basement.
This one was main floor, and the only reason I bring it up is because they had a lunch buffet with sandwiches made out of Spam.
That wasn't spam.
A much younger Kyle used to live across the street, and I went through I got sick one winter, so I was home for 2 or 3 days in a row. By the third day, I was feeling pretty good. Nothing left in the house to eat, so I went across for the Spam sandwich buffet for $7.99 or $8.99. Real good lunch.
I feel like you chose poorly.
On noon on a Thursday, you're not getting the A team. But the sandwiches were good,
Well, you're getting an A team. It was just the A Cup team.
He's not even that. No?
Did they have all their limbs?
Yes, but I think I may have told you this in the winter. I've been to a strip club in Brandon where a one-arm gal. There's a club, or was a club in downtown Brandon, Manitoba called Sassy's that once featured a one-arm stripper.
Sold out.
So yeah. So I mean, good for her,
Just making ends meet.
Yeah, well, not no, but
Both literally and figuratively.
she's out there.
Where do we go from here, Kyle? I feel like we
How do you
backed
segue out of
ourselves in a
minivans
corner.
and strippers, which sounds like a pretty good band name. Now that I think of it. So NHL play. Shaun, let's get your thoughts on the Leafs here.
Oh, I've been a Leafs fan since the mid 90s, and I think I'm just about ready to quit.
That seems like a tough one to like completely abandon. It feels like there's just a little bit left over,
Yeah, it's the same every year. Just thinking that next year could be better than this.
Yeah. At some point,
So,
though,
yeah.
not become fun in and of itself. Just if you look at it from a lighthearted perspective.
Yeah, I mean they're a fun team to watch. Like I just watching the game last night. At the end of the game, they're got all the talent in the world there, and they're dumping and chasing, and it just seemed like they were out of sorts.
Yeah, it's an interesting team too, because it feels like we've seen this happen with a lot of different guys going back. I think I told you during the winter that run they went on would have been like maybe the 92-93 season. Oilers were garbage, so I was watching the Leafs, and again, just feels like a pretty successful team, but just kind of find a way to lose. which has to be disheartening after, going on 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably a tough market. I don't know. There's probably more pressure than one could ever think of.
I think so. I think it's obviously a tough place to live. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, is that you're always going to have nothing but money because the place is going to be packed all the time, but a lot of pressure. So there's no real gun to your head to win other than, no, I guess no financial incentive to win, right? If that team is bottom of the league, they're going to pack it. If they're number one, they're going to pack it. Just all the extra stuff that comes with it. But yeah,
Are they the New York Yankees of Canada? Is that
I
fair
think
to say?
yeah, I think you got like the diehard fans and the people that equally just loathe them. I think especially in Western Canada, the complaint, and it was when I lived there still, is you go to so two different sports channels for us. They have sort of like a supper sports news, then a late sports news, and hey, I wanted to see what went on with the Oilers game or Canucks game or Flames game, and you're going to watch 7 minutes of Leafs practice before you get to the actual game. Like what was Nikolai Borashevsky wearing today for 3.5 minutes? So I think it rubs some people the wrong way, but again, like in terms of market power, I think the Yankees are probably the most direct comparison. Of course, the Yankees
Yeah,
win, so every so often,
right.
you know. Similar
Yeah.
type of people though, like the old, Harold Ballard was, probably roughly equivalent to Steinbrenner in his heyday. So a lot of parallels there.
Is that news outlet TSN for you then?
So we had TSN and Sportsnet, and then we had one called The Score as well, which is supposed at one time was just a ticker, a very fancy, is a 24-hour a day ticker with highlights, and that's it. Like they didn't have they had maybe one announcer just to like change things, but then it went to like a full sports station as well. And so really, and I think it's still around, but TSN and Sportsnet would be the two competing ones. So no shortage of
Yeah,
highlights.
I hate to circle back to something Shaun said quite a while ago, but hockey in Seattle.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was different. I ended up on a Team Northwest team that went out there one summer, and they asked me if I would ever be interested in coming back to play on their team during the year, and I was just, I said, "Tell me what that would look like." And they played a pile of games, um, maybe high 70s in a game count, but I think that first year I was there, we we covered ground from we took a bus one time we left Seattle, went up to BC, drove all the way over to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, playing games along the way. Um, and then played in a tournament in Prince Albert one weekend. Well, I think it was actually a whole week. We flew out to the Boston area and played a bunch of prep schools out there. Um, yeah, it was. And then our league, we were in a Canadian league, so every Wednesday night we would go up to BC and play in their midget league, and then a team would come down and play us on the weekend. Sometimes vice versa, but leaving Grand Forks. Uh, Thankfully, my brother came with. He was a goaltender, so had a buddy with me. Um, just a lot of chalking up new experiences, one after the other, from driving in the mountains to eating seafood, snow skiing, uh, going downtown in a huge city, uh, different school with a plethora of the weirdest kids you've ever seen. So there was a lot of learning on the fly. It was fun though. It was fun to be in a different city and experience a bunch of different things. It was probably some of the most fun that I had. That was those 2 years were good.
And Shaun, just a follow up there. Is that where you got your taste for fancy Starbucks drinks?
No, that just started a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Well, you get to be in the 40s and you can start affording those fancy Starbucks drinks, not just the black coffee.
Yeah, the doctor told me to drink coffee instead of Mountain Dew in the morning, so just have to church it up, Kyle. I can't do the straight black like you do. It's just maybe in 10 years when the palate, I'm sure it's like drinking wine. Give me a couple more years and I'll enjoy a black coffee with you, maybe.
Yeah, okay, that's the deal. I think it would be tremendous if you could bring Brandon Fuller along with you too, because I think his tastes delve a little more towards the something, Buddy the Elf would drink,
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't served with glow sticks, he's probably not interested. Oh.
So you said you played quite a bit up in Canada as well as like Burnaby Winter Club, those types of.
Yeah, Burnaby Winter Club, Chilliwack, all those, North Vancouver. Is it Nanaimo that's on the island out there?
Yeah.
Some of those teams. So yeah, it was. I'm drawing a blank on a lot of those names, but there's a pile of little cities there in Vancouver that have the same deal there. After my second year, I went up to Vernon for a while and played in the BC League. Some preseason games. I had signed with them. Kind of a interesting story, not interesting, but so my brother was there with me. He was a goaltender. We're getting ready to leave on a road trip. We're sitting next to each other on the bus, and it's probably still preseason, and bus we're right ready to go, and a car pulls up and the trunk pops on it, and the kid throws out his goalie gear and puts it on the bus. And I'm sitting by the window and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And then the assistant coach says, Jason, you got to go up and see coach in the office. So my brother walks off the bus, and at this point I figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
He goes up and meets with coach, has to come back on the bus, get his stuff off the bus. We go play and maybe Penticton a couple hours away or something. Get back home and he's all fired up and whatever. They released him, and I think I picked up the phone. It probably wasn't that night. I think it was the next morning, but all my buddies were playing in Fargo, and Fargo had drafted me that year, and I was having fun out west. I liked it out there. So I decided to go out there, but at that point I was like, well, if we're going to act like this, maybe I should think about relocating. So, called some of my buddies that were there, had a conversation with a coach, and I said, hey, I'm heading back that way. And he said, just let us know when you get to town. So that's kind of how I ended up back in Fargo. And
it's funny. It's come full circle. It's exact same things happening now, right? So it's interesting that it's so cyclical in junior hockey. So gonna be my turn to circle back now. But how was the 30-hour bus trip only to end up in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, as the prize?
Well, not only that, we played games all the way there, and we just ran into some gnarly teams along the way, and it's exactly what you wouldn't want to do to yourself before you went to a hockey tournament, was just play a bunch of nasty teams and get beat up the whole way there, and then get to Prince Albert. But yeah, Prince Albert wasn't the mecca that I thought it was.
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. For a town named after a semi-famous royal, it is a not as nice as Winnipeg, we'll say.
Yeah.
Well, and well, first of all, a couple podcasts ago, I may have called Prince Edward Island Prince Albert Island, but who cares? It's Canada. But Shaun, I feel like you're going to be my horse here, because we ask this question. I ask this question all the time. Since you played so much and you've coached, you got to tell me the best chirp you've ever said or heard. I feel like you're my guy here.
Oh, I think right when I got to Fargo, this was coming from one of my own teammates. And I think it was our first road weekend, and we were in the Twin Cities, and I'm sitting on the bench, and Jeff Panzer looks at me and he goes, "We didn't bring you here to score goals. Why don't you fucking beat somebody?" It's like, I have feelings too, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm a person.
And I said, "All right, next shift."
Friendly fire.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Jeffy doesn't sugarcoat much, so he tells her straight up.
Yeah. That's completely fair.
Well, there was a great Twitter war between him and Adam McGovern many years ago in squirt hockey that I had to have. It had to be one of my favorite Twitter threads to ever read.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that one. That sounds tremendous.
Are you not familiar with that?
No.
Oh, so our boys, my older boy and his oldest boy, were in squirts, and they had won their way through the first round of the Squirt International tournament, and we won all of our games, but we got placed in a lower bracket because there was one team out of all the teams that would have won all their games that wouldn't make the top bracket, and our team just happened to be the one. And the decision came down because some of our wins weren't as decisive as other teams' wins were.
Okay.
And things were said on Twitter, and arguments were made between Jeff and Adam, and it's as hilarious as it sounds. I don't remember the exact words of it, but I remember his wife asking if I could get him off Twitter. It's good stuff.
Whose wife, Adam's or Jeff's?
Adam's wife. I honestly, I've met Jay Panzer, but I've never met Jeff. And Cam and Jeff, and I'm trying to remember Jeff's youngest now. He's a freshman as well in East Grand. Just blank Jace. Yeah. Cam played some baseball with Jace, and off and on he's played against Jace in hockey, but never on the same team or anything like that. So I've heard some good stories, but never met the gentleman.
He's a good man.
I can tell you a great story of swapping a entire case of Summum vodka into Jay Panzer's vehicle, but that's a song for another day.
Boy, feels like we're gonna have to review the tape at some point.
I think so. We
Set up a lot of
was
things.
outside Icon, so it's probably on public video.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. Speaking of Icon, how do we get Sinbin to stock these?
What are they again?
They're called John Daly Good Boy Vodka, which sounds a little sus, as the kids would say, but pretty good. This would go pretty well during a golf tournament.
Just got to call our old buddy Nate Lapagard over there and just make a commitment to be there for a couple nights a week, drinking Good Boy vodka, I suppose.
I mean, that seems pretty doable at this stage of the game. It's nice out. You can walk.
Yeah.
I feel like of the three of us, Shaun would have the most pull in that department.
Let's just get like a biking gang together. We'll just sort these things out.
I think it's a good deal. I actually anecdotally heard of one of the moms we know who said she will sometimes take a solo bike ride up to Lincoln Golf Course, have a couple beers and bike home. And I was like, man, you got to go right by my house. My feelings are a little hurt.
You mean to tell me they sell beer at the Lincoln Park Golf Course?
They do, yeah. You can buy them for your round, but you can also just sit there.
Wow.
Undiscovered gem.
Well,
Another
if you're
one.
telling me I can go to a golf course and I never have to actually golf, I mean, I'd be in.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Corey,
But
maybe
also,
they
Ryan,
just rent you a cart. You think they would just rent you a cart and sell you some beer and tell you to drive around?
I'd be in. I could drive the back 18, even though Lincoln's only 9.
Yeah. It wouldn't take long. Actually, I played 9 this morning. I have to go to a work deal in Florida on Monday, which includes some golf. So I thought I better swing a club. And the couple in front of me had to be pushing 90. And the old gal she was game to swing a club, but she was getting about 10, 15 feet a shot. And the old boy would just like drive up and drive up and drive up. It was a lot of fun to watch. I answered about 2,000 emails waiting for them because they didn't invite me to play through, but it was pretty good to watch. You know what I mean?
4 hours for 9 holes?
Yeah, it took quite a while. They made it happen. So
How do you think the people at Lincoln Golf Course would enjoy it, Kyle, if you and I rented a golf cart, didn't play, but we just drove around the course, Facebook living other people playing while we drank?
I think if we offered to stream it for them, I don't think it would hurt.
So I've got a standing offer from Marto to live stream our once a year wiffle ball tournament, and in part live stream, but in part make fun of everyone hitting. And I think that'd be a great afternoon.
Um, since you opened the door, Shaun, it's been a while since I've seen you play lawn darts, but I think it's probably time I think like maybe two summers ago in Fargo.
I would dare to say it was more than 2, but yes, it was in Fargo.
In Fargo, yeah,
Behind the
Hampton Inn,
Hampton Inn, sure.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
So the aforementioned Danny Marto wants to play lawn darts. I said, well, grab a partner. And he threw Corey under the bus. He said, I'll take a partner as long as it's not Corey. So now that is out there, also a former guest, we'll have to,
Are you taking Corey then?
yeah.
Wow, I did not expect that, Kyle.
And just full disclosure, Kelly's not here. This is just a friendly. So Kelly and I have been a pretty good team here for 3 or 4 summers. Tell you what, I have 3 or 4 sets of lawn darts. I can drop one off.
Okay, we'll practice.
Yeah, see if you can talk him
Faith
into
is trying to regrow his grass right now, so we'll just play on his lawn.
Yeah, okay, I call that totally fair. So, Shaun, what's your favorite drill to coach?
Oh boy. It's a good question. Maybe it's just the easy passing one to get everybody started. Let's just pass the puck up the middle, circle wide, work on a long pass on the way back. Not a lot of pressure there, just moving the puck.
Corey mentioned we broadcast the games. The passing's an underrated skill that I don't think is taught enough. I think we saw more muffins than a Tim Hortons drive-through.
There's a lot of not bad idea passing, bad execution in the passing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna whip this thing.
It's the
lob this
puck's
one up the middle.
a puck's 3 feet in front of you, and you kind of reach and try to push it.
Yeah.
Or how about if you just flick it over there? That's maybe even a little more maddening if you make it wobble in the air and make it even harder to catch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Or how
well,
about coming out of the zone on a right wall or left wall, and the center is covered by two guys, and you've got all the room in the world to escape, but you try to push it into that center double covered.
I guess
Equally frustrating.
yeah. To be fair, you see NHL guys do that sometimes too. The first goal against in the Oilers Kings game last night was a missed 5-footer. So it happens, I suppose. I said at the very, very start of the show, and I had told a couple of guys this story, but on Monday, I got sent out to go to the liquor store, grab some of these John Daly good boys, waiting in line to pay. And a young-ish gal, we'll say, came in behind me, acting a little squirrely, kind of walked behind me a couple times, circled the till, came back, and then I don't want to say cut in line because I was actually standing there. We're the only two in the store. Came and plopped three airline bottles of Fireball down. Not a big purchase. We're maybe talking $3, $4 max. And she's waiting to pay, and she turns to me and she goes, "Hey, you want to go fishing with me?" And I've yet to answer her. That RSVP, as far as I know, is still floating out there. So I'm still thinking about it, but I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. I think you guys would probably have some good input there. Did I make a mistake?
Serious?
Immediately accepting.
Serious question. Was it a nitty gritty dirt band type fishing offer or what?
I don't know, but let's call her a meth 8, if that helps.
You do paint a picture.
Yeah.
It sounds like down by the river for sure.
I'd assume so, but it also might be she might have wanted my kidney to sell for meth, or maybe she just liked to fish.
I'm going to go with, based on the description of meth level, you probably dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Corey, they can't afford both. I probably dodged an X-Acto knife.
Yeah. Either that or
Go ahead.
I'll just say either that or you dodged the back of a meth lab van, but
To be fair, she did have a minivan, a white minivan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's a roving meth lab, sir. Sorry, Shaun, I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to ask if she was on foot or horseback, but she had a minivan.
Yeah. So in retrospect, I may have missed getting our crew a summer minivan. So maybe apologies are in order.
The meth constituent of our world, they might not be the most solid and upstanding citizens, but somehow they can explain how to both cold and hot cook meth in a very stoichiometric response. So I'm usually pretty impressed.
That's a big word, Corey. Take it easy.
Yeah. It was rough on me, but we made
it. We have sort of a long running thing on the show, or as long as a show with 30 episodes can have, sort of a central Red River back and forth. Do you have anything, now that Kelly can't defend herself, do you have anything to say to the crosstown rivals, Shaun?
No, I think crosstown rivals are a good thing. I feel like I'm sure everybody you have on that used to play when it was Grand Forks North versus Grand Forks South, youth hockey, those were some extremely fun times. Good rivalry. I don't know where the tally is anymore, but cheering for the good guys in red usually, unless it's not an option.
Well, yeah, I as an out of towner try and ride the fence as much as possible. But yeah, I don't know what the tally is either, but guest wise, I think we're probably getting close to parity, Corey, right?
Now we're starting to push more to parity. Right away, we had some pretty rough episodes with the guys from the north end of the tracks.
Yeah. Probably do. So
What do you talk about with those guys?
Meth mostly. I'm gonna pay for that joke.
oh yeah, I'm assuming someone's coming to get you. You know what I mean?
Torches and pitchforks. The second you
There will
put
be
this on.
delivery from Spicer Container and Salvage there before too long.
I made it a rule in my life to never piss off a Spicer, and I just made a large mistake.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's good. It's keeps everything spicy, you know?
Hopefully they don't burn down Fabian's house with mine.
So Shaun, one of the other things we thought we'd bring up is we certainly appreciate you being a sponsor of the program. We've had a number of repeat guests. Now there's a bit of jockeying for position in terms of who's going to be on again. So any input as to guests going forward, repeat guests?
I appreciated the Andy Schneider episode. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. You did a nice job.
Who else? I don't know. I guess you got to go with what works there. Who brings the most energy?
One of the episodes I get the most comments on is the Tony Bina episode, because he would tell a story, his own story or joke, and then laugh at his own stuff for quite a while, which was a lot of fun. A lot of good comments on the Max Markowitz episode. And we need to get Fabian back on too, because he did not have his camera on the whole time and was like sitting outside in the middle of nowhere. So
I think I saw that one.
yeah, or didn't see it because it was all audio, because he was just blank screen.
Yeah, I don't know if I can provide any good guidance there. I think all those guys are good options. Yeah, that's the you thing, not a me thing.
No, that's perfectly acceptable. I think one of the to me, one of the most fun things so far over the course of 30 episodes is the post summer golf tournament episodes, where everyone's barely hanging on.
Yep.
Those are tough.
Yeah.
I want to come along to that tournament this year, but again, I don't want to play golf. I just want to ride in someone's golf cart.
Well, I think the Bruce Spicer Memorial is always looking for people to help out at various things, so I think you could probably jump in on that.
Can I set up a table at a hole where I just make fun of golfers?
Yes, yeah, I think that's.
I'm in. Man.
Yeah.
If there's a
As
church
long as
table,
you're collecting, as long as you're collecting money, it's good.
Yeah.
So I think when you get there, I don't know if you guys play in just one group or different groups together, but it should be that someone pays me to make fun of their teammates.
I think you'd have a lot of takers.
I think so. I mean, Shane would definitely delve out the money, and I'm sure Matt would as well.
Yeah,
I feel like you're hole number one with that act.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could get you could go on retainer from Kelly just to follow Matt around and give him the business.
Yeah. Oh.
One of the things we also do on the show, Shaun, is Corey does a really nice live read touting the benefits of Endres construction. Would you like to do it yourself?
No, thanks.
You want to hear Corey do it?
Yeah.
This is high-end stuff.
I'm a little nervous with the patriarch watching, but Endres Construction Services, they have 20 years of experience in all areas of construction. Projects worked on include banks, oral surgery offices, dental offices, schools, retail, audio space, he's watching. Retail space and auto body shops. You name it, they can build it. They offer assistance with all phases of construction, from the initial design phase all the way through completion. You dream it, they can make it a reality. Want your next construction project to go like a breeze? Call the folks at Endres.
That's good
He's
stuff.
laughing
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
I messed up the middle of it when he was watching. Dang
It's
I do have a
It's
really
good.
good video clip we can include if Corey's not happy with that one.
it.
I do want to get you in some short jean shorts with a shovel and maybe have you do a live read there one time. Get
Corey,
you
Gotta
on a
talk
job
about
site.
that.
Corey's number one requirement will be no shirt.
We're still talking
No
about
tr-
Kyle, right?
And your pockets got to be hanging out of your jean shorts with some good boots on.
Yeah, this one's all Corey.
Yikes. I got to go to the gym more.
I think you're just fine, Corey. So we're coming up on our time here, Shaun. Any parting thoughts on anything hockey related or not hockey related? You want to get into the NFL draft?
Feel like if you got any shots at Danny Mardo, take them now.
Or might not?
Yeah, Minot's always. Yeah. How do you feel about Minot?
Minot's always beatable, I feel like, but they do put on a nice tournament. They do put on a nice youth hockey tournament in Minot. I'll give them that, but as long as we can always beat Minot, I think we're in good shape.
That's really, we're sort of hoping for something off the handle there. That's super reasonable.
Yeah. As I get older, I try to throw less rocks.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I get that.
We only had to cut 2 of Tony's thoughts about Minot off of his episode.
Yeah. We can edit out all kinds of stuff now. If you could, Shaun, delve into the hypothetical in a Corey Irian versus Danny Mardo lawn dart game, you can pick a partner for each of them. Who comes out on top?
I think I'll take Corey. Is that weird?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
And not just because he's looking at me right now. But Mardo comes from a long baseball, softball background too. I should have thought about that before I said that. So it's going to be kind of be an equal arms race there. I feel like I'd like to see it.
If you were tasked with this job, if you could choose a partner for either of them or both, do you have any like ideal dream teams?
Why don't we get you had Andrea Reynolds on the podcast one time, didn't you?
Yeah, she's sneaky good at lawn darts.
Yep. So it's a co-ed match.
Yeah.
We got Mrs. Reynolds. Who else we bring in?
One of the lawn darts.
Go across the yard there and get Scarfroot involved.
Yeah, I think
kind of a neighborhood deal.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I've yet to be able to entice him over for lawn darts. He wants to play bags, but lawn darts haven't talked him into it yet.
He's an insurance guy, right? Like he's not going to play with sharps.
I sharpen mine up. They've all spent time on the grinder, so not grinder like Corey, but the grinder. You know, Corey, I'm so too far.
No, I get it.
I deserve that. Danny will be happy that you threw that shot. He will be.
Too far. One of the best lawn dart players I've seen recently is, I'm not Corey knows him, but Nick Marvin from Warroad.
Yeah, sneaky good.
Sneaky good, yeah. So yeah, there you go.
You got a baseball background or a softball, slow pitch, something?
As far as I know, he just fishes all the time. So it must be long casts out into Lake of the Woods.
Seems normal.
And he might be one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. And like what, 14 kids?
Yeah, at least 85 by now.
Yeah, I think giving them lawn darts for a hobby is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Some other hobby.
Some other hobby. That's right. All All right, so next steps, bike gang together.
Yep. Get the good
Well,
old boys.
Yeah, at some point, because the playoffs are on, we'll have to also start season 2. What's so I guess follow-up question to the guests, what do you think is a good number of episodes for season 1, Shaun?
Quantity?
Yeah.
Well, it sure as hell isn't going to be quality.
This is a year-long deal?
Yeah, we're coming up on it. I think we started
Right at the
May.
I think we started right when the Stanley Cup playoffs were going on, like right at the last round.
Yeah, I think the first thing, yeah, we talked about how ugly Mark Stone was, right?
Yeah, and then you asked me how I thought about the playoffs, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I watched them, right?
Well, is there 52 weeks in a year? I don't
Yeah,
like.
52 weeks in a year. This is episode 30.
Yeah, I think if you get to 40, you're doing things right.
Yeah, I think we can squeeze out. Yeah,
Is anybody good at math there? I mean, like, there's
no, not
only how
here.
many people are in Grand Forks, and if we got 52 weeks in a year, you're going to be double on before you know it.
Yeah, I think we can pull that together. We the next step here is a live episode, so I think we need to work towards that.
Yep.
You got a venue picked?
No, but what I'd like to do is get all of some of the luminaries from season 1 together. Do it all at once.
An Illuminati
Maybe
episode, so to speak.
Yeah.
and a Chevy Lumina.
Boy, if we could find a Chevy Lumina, that would be
Well done.
very high end.
That deal where the kids are spinning the cars around in a circle.
Yeah.
I feel like if you started your show with the minivan going, and maybe a barrel fire.
Yeah, I think it would really take off after that. One of the other guys that has a often viewed show is the Tikhonov episode. So if we can invite Victor up here, I think we'd be in business. Actually, to be fair, I did invite him after that episode, and he has not answered that text message yet, so we might have been a little too much.
Came on too strong again, Kyle.
Again, yeah. So good. Okay, well, any 20 minutes after I asked the first time, any parting shots, either of you guys?
I feel like I got in the ones I needed to.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take one at Corey. Just looking at your hat. I managed a youth baseball team one year, and I think I still got a fresh one in a box up there. I'll maybe give it to you, but I was maybe the only Grand Forks youth baseball manager to deviate from the GF on the hat, as I know today, unless you could tell me otherwise.
What was your hat?
We were the Rebels, which was kind of the Bandit logo.
Yep.
And I just thought it was too awesome to keep it off the hat, so we
I am
replaced
interested.
the standard GF.
Yep.
I'll maybe crack that box.
When you say Bandit, you mean Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah, it's
I'd
a
be all over
mustache
that.
it's a mustache and a Trans Am just peeling out.
I'm stealing that idea.
Now
Right?
I want that.
Or is that a Firebird?
Firebird, right?
That's a Firebird. Yeah. I feel like Firebird.
Or is that the same thing? A Trans Am is a Firebird, no?
Well, isn't one a Pontiac and one? Are they both?
Pontiac.
I'm not going to Google another automobile discrepancy on this episode, guys.
Well, someone can.
Kyle, who is the auto parts group that sponsored our 3-on-3 tournament this year? Where you made the tinfoil cup.
Oh man, I got the sticker in my garage. That's a deep cut.
that's your next sponsor. If we're going to talk this much autos on the show, we
It's
should
yeah,
start to get some royalties for you guys.
it's not a bad idea. Like as we transition out of like, hockey's gonna be over soon. We can't do all strippers and minivans.
And we tried though. We really tried.
Yeah, I'll have to go look. So I received 2 stickers from them. One made it onto the tinfoil cup, and one's in my garage, and I'm completely blanking on it. So, but Fuller knew who it was. Shoot.
Well, if anybody, Fuller would.
Yeah. Huh.
The truth are all Firebirds and Trans Ams the same. The truthful answer is yes and no. While all Trans Ams are Pontiac Firebirds, not all Firebirds are Trans Ams. This is because the Trans Am became a type of Pontiac Firebird that started as a specialty package in 1969 of all years.
Nice.
I'll sleep good tonight knowing that.
Yeah.
You got it.
Rest easy. I'm going to end on a baseball story just for Corey. 2-3 years ago, coached a baseball team. Shaun's youngest boy, Ryder, played on the team. We were in a tight game, and it was hot as shit. And he said, I'm just going to sit this one out. I'm like, all right. And then somebody wasn't doing well, so I needed a pinch hitter. So, hey, Ryder, can you want to get up to the plate? And he just looks at me, goes, walks up and cranks a double, and then just walks back to the bench. I'm like, no, you got to go. You got to run. It was the best Ryder shoulder shrug. Like it's hard. I'm just going to go first pitch. So yeah.
The daily double.
The daily double, just on command.
Need a guy.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, Shaun, thanks so much for joining us. Corey, thanks as always. Kelly, we'll get you back for 31. And little shout out to Matt Moreland's lawn, which is apparently looking really nice right now.
I'll do it.
It's making the rounds on Snapchat. So, all right. Thanks a lot, gents. We'll have the episode out tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah.